This is The Party with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
Welcome back to the wild world of women. It's the Trim Healthy Podcast.
Go to the toilet.
Serene, you're not ready and you're not even saying stuff on the mic.
I forgot to go to the toilet.
Do you need to pee?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just wait.
I can't.
Oh, Danny and I have just talked one-on-one.
I mean, is the podcast open now? Or
Yeah,
did we
it's open.
close?
You opened it. There is not, remember, we don't allow redos.
Well, here we are. And we don't need
Danny, since Serena's gone, though, it cannot be not talked about, the outfit.
What about it?
It's very debonair, but why?
This is me.
Oh, it is?
Oh. You've seen the movie?
No. Which what? I don't know what movie we're talking about.
The Greatest Showman.
Oh yes,
This
yes.
is me, the
oh,
song.
okay. This is me. I'm getting it now.
Yeah.
So is that a tribute to that today, or it's just that you woke up feeling like I have to wear? Funny, we're both in black. We didn't plan that. Serene's in black.
Yeah. I think synchronicious.
But why the tie? I mean, do you feel like we're upping, like with the set and everything, we're upping our game here, and you just kind of are upping your game?
That may have had something to do with it, but I mean, I think people, I always really downplay myself when I'm on camera, and when I'm not on camera, this is what I
Yeah,
sure.
but listen, last time you came with this like baggy white t-shirt, you'd cut the arms out yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you're doing is what I do sometimes when you've really grunged it out like a time or two with some people. You just want to come back strong and like, this is the real me. This is what I really am.
Yeah, no, I've just been hiding, and it's time to be me.
Okay.
Hello,
well,
world.
We'll see what he's wearing next week. So I have something to bring today that there's a reason I'm bringing it. Two reasons, actually, that have kind of happened in my life that have made me take thought. And I wanted to bring that thought to you guys and to our listeners and discuss it, because I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people. I don't think I'm the only one that has thought they had these thoughts. Serena, I know you and I have discussed this. But it's really about, the topic today is about not being up to the job. I was talking about it before with, Ben here. He comes to the podcast, and I was like, and he's like, oh, imposter syndrome. And I was like, yes, imposter syndrome. I have felt like an imposter, like many times in my life, I think, for things that I'm doing and things that I've called to do and not feeling equipped. And today I want to talk about that. And recently it came up because, Serene, you and I are about to record a series of workout DVDs, an old school thing. We're not doing DVDs, streaming.
You sound like me.
YouTubes, whatever they are. But I'm doing my own. And it's heavy lifting, okay? Because as Serena and I have gotten to these pause season, I'm post-menopause, she's perimenopause, women lose muscle. And unless they do something about it, it's gone, baby, gone. And with it goes our metabolism. So I have been devoted a couple of years of my life now to building back my lean body mass. And I have done a good job. I've sat here on this party saying this before, that I feel like an imposter because I don't look like I lift. And yet I do, but I feel it in my body, and I do see the changes. I mean, I'm always going to be an ectomorphic body type, but I see the changes in me. I see my posture is better. I feel better. My body shape has changed. But it came to us having to do my own series of workout videos, and Serene could do that in a heartbeat. I mean, not just because she looks stronger and she's better at it, but she's doing a 45-minute session, and I don't love that. So I'm doing 25-minute sessions. It's going to be called Heavy 25. Hers is going to be called Heavy 45. And so we're all excited about, I thought, there's so many women and we're also going to have a Fit 10 one for people that only have 10 minutes. But I thought, so many women, I don't want them to just have to do 45 minutes for passionate people like Serene. Serene loves that length of time. I don't feel I have that length of time. And I know there's many women that are not going to feel it. Some people are going to love it. And I was thinking, yay, I'm so excited to do this. And I thought, no, I'm not. I am not up for that. I am, of all people in this world, me doing my own like workout show. That is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Pearl, she shouldn't be leading anyone in this. You know, I'm the one that follows other gurus in that heavy lifting. I shouldn't be doing it and standing up in front of these people. And I kept imagining people working out with me and looking at me and saying, I don't want to look like her. She's a skinny thing. She's puny. Where are her muscles? And I kept, it was just all these thoughts of, you're not up to the task. But then I thought, I am up to the task. I've come so jolly far. And I kind of have now refused those thoughts. I'm going to do this series. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's going to have an impact on a lot of women. And I think if women are more muscular or whatever, they'll understand that we're all different body types. But it just got me thinking. So many of us are called to things, and sometimes we don't even do them because of our thoughts about how inept we are. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking in the Bible, so you guys can just jump in anytime you're letting me talk. And I was thinking about Moses, right? He was called to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. For you, little Leslie, heathen pops. And he kept saying, I'm not up for the job. He's like, hey.
He had a speech impediment, right?
They say he had a speech impediment. He's like, no, I can't do it. I cannot do it. Okay, let me go get my brother. Or anybody else. But he was the one who called. And then, I have the image of him standing there with his arm up and the Red Sea parting in front of him. He was called to the job.
You think he had a lisp?
Don't know what he had.
He felt very inadequate with speech. And he was the one that was meant to speak before Pharaoh and speak for the children of Israel.
I think God wants to call us when we're not equipped.
Well, look at the disciples. Weren't they a ragamuffin bunch? No college degrees there.
Yeah. Do you think if he did have a lisp, he would introduce himself as Modith?
He might have, but it's probably in ancient Hebrew, so it was probably a little different anyway.
Yeah.
The suits, I don't know if the suits helping.
I totally tracking with you. I feel you, Pearl. Because even just here with this potty, even with everything we do for Trim Healthy, I wake up feeling very inadequate. I just feel like everything maybe resting on your or my shoulders. And what happens if we wake up totally moronic? We just wake up and we just don't bring it. Will the whole thing crash and then everyone, won't have a job?
And we have had times of not bringing it.
Oh, totally. Oh, yes.
We have failed miserably.
Right. Yes, over and over.
I also think of David. I mean, I think, like I said, God loves calling us when we don't look equipped to everyone else.
Right.
They needed a king of Israel, and they kept going to all the big guys, the strong guys, the ones that looked kingly. Mm-hmm. And God chose one that looked the least kingly. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of wanted to bring this here because the other thing that made me bring this was I have gotten messages over the years, and I just want to bring this out into the open. People have said to me, and I want to say this in the best way so that I'm upholding people and bringing strength to our coaching situation and not pulling anything down. But some people have sometimes said to me, do you have coaches that have not yet arrived at goal weight? And to me.
And to me.
And to you, I feel like it's actually the most powerful story.
It's the most powerful.
We have got some coaches that are at goal weight, and they're fantastic. And
our coaches have lost more than a normal person having to get to goal weight.
Yeah.
They have been ones with metabolic and hormonal challenges. They have come so far. They're like the soldiers in the trenches at war, and they have made it through and come through incredible situations that were against them, and they know how to do things. Right. They know how to tweak things. Now they may not be goal weight like some size 4 or size 2 or size 6, but they have lost so much and come so far. They've lost bodies.
I know, and I think, and sometimes it's not even about what they've lost, but although we do have one coach, she shared her story publicly. She was over 600 pounds. I mean, and now she's, I don't know how many 100 pounds down, but we don't know people's stories when we just give a little glance at them and say, well, they don't look like they're at goal weight. Why could I learn from them? If we didn't if we, just only had coaches that were at goal weight as our coaches, I'm thinking of just the ones that we've had on our party. Coach KJ that we had here a few weeks ago is impacting tens of thousands of women, not only with their healthy lifestyle, but with their mindset, with their spiritual walk. I'm talking about a huge movement. I think of Coach Debbie, I think of Coach Canada, some of them close to their goal weight, some of them not quite there, but the impact they have had on women. And if we had said, no, you don't look quite perfect yet, imagine now the lives that wouldn't be touched.
They're just in their perfect, healthiest weight. And that's fantastic. And they have a lot to give and a lot to share. But we don't want to forget about the ones and look over or disdain the ones that have had so many challenges. Boy, do they have some incredible wisdom to bring, because they've had to actually fight for the victory. And so they have some battle tactics. Yeah. And if the people out there, a lot of people out there that are needing a coach, they need it because they are in the battle with their own health journey, and they need to go to some person who's got some battle tactics.
Yeah, I know. And so when you fight, you develop tools. And So yeah, those were those two things. And then when Serene, our coaches come here once a year, and there's a retreat, and we go and we talk a little bit. And one of the things that came out was this thing that many of our coaches, even though they were brave enough to become a coach, still wake up in the morning sometimes and feel inept, feel like an imposter, like we do. And we were just standing there, and it's like, you guys too? Oh, don't worry. We feel it. Yeah. We feel it every day.
I think it's something that the enemy likes to bring to every human that's on this face of the earth, a feeling of inadequacy. He's the accuser, right?
Yeah, the accuser. What do you want to say, Danny? Because it's got a look on your face that goes with the suit.
I just want to say amen. No, actually, I get so stricken anytime I try to do or say anything publicly. I get washed in my failures. Like, all of them come, like, from the first failure as a child to like my just a Rolodex of just like almost like almost like I need to like go fix a lot of things first before I like attempt to write like when I was writing my book, you know, it was that was one of the hardest things to overcome, was that, which I think is why it got sort of testimonial at the beginning, sort of a confession, you know, like first of all, let's just know that I know I'm the last person that has a right to tell you anything. I just need to get that out of the way. I do have some stuff to tell you that I've learned, but, and I think that's probably a good solution for a lot of coaches, is to not, is to just like lead with your failure.
Yeah. Just
lead with it. Like what we used to call it in marketing, ride that energy. So when somebody would, like, there'd be some problem with your brand or with your product or something, and someone would slam it, critique it, and the whole world would know. And it's like, what are we going to do now? How do we respond to this? There's a phrase called just ride that energy. Like, go with it, lean into it, like receive it as if it was a gift, you know? So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I mean, I think
poignant, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the black suit helped that, but
yeah, it brings out, I feel refined today.
He's acting refined.
Yeah.
There's no nonsense coming. Well, there was a little bit of nonsense with the modith, but I think, you know, gaining confidence, like confidence in what we feel called to, like even Trim Healthy Mama journey, like your Trim Healthy journey. If you're sitting there feeling like an imposter, we can get confidence, and I have gotten confident, but confidence really doesn't last, right? It has to go back to identity and who we are, for me. I mean, I know we have people of all faiths listening, and, you know, we're all on different journeys in our spiritual walk. But for me, it's not building myself up because really I have nothing, but I have really everything, and that's the mind of Christ. And so if he's called me like God called Moses, then I am equipped.
Right.
You know, so if you have been called to a lifestyle of healthy eating, and you have, because you have a body and you are called to honor it, then you are equipped.
Yeah.
You don't know have to like go build up your confidence.
Good.
You have been called to it, and he will equip you.
I love it. I really love it. It's really...
And that's all I have.
No, it's fantastic.
What are we in? 15 minutes?
That's your whole podcast?
Yes.
No.
We've never ended
I
a
can't
party in
fix
15
this.
minutes.
No, but I absolutely love it because I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed number one. Like number one. Like I feel like it's something that everybody struggles with, but not many people talk about. But I feel like if this is addressed, so many more victories can be, felt, can actually be lived out, because I think it holds people back when they feel like, well, I'm unequipped and I'm not the right one for the job. But we're called to marriage. Many people are. We're called to be parents. Many people are.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not out of our perfection that we're called to marriage or to parenting.
Yeah, true.
But we're called, and we can do amazing, amazing things. We can have a beautiful marriage. We can raise incredible children when we realize that it's going to be somebody else's strength working through us, right?
Yeah.
The mind of Christ, the heart of Christ, the love of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes when we realize that it's bigger than us, and that we're calling and relying on strength that is so much more vast than our own.
There's a whole alarm going off
Yeah,
in here.
is that your phone, Serene? Good job for not turning it off. Eh?
Hey, I love your television-sized iPad.
Yeah,
That's the iPad that she's been using
Is your
for
tele.
years.
that's my teleprompter.
Yeah.
Just noticed that, Dan? After
I just noticed
6 years on the potty.
I just noticed its robust size.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's got a few cracks in it too.
It's a
That's
lot
how I
you
like
can
it.
notice when you wear a suit that you never have noticed.
And here we
before.
are. Do you would you wear spectacles?
Would I?
Yeah, like could you?
I don't need
Do you
to.
need them is what
No, I
I'm
don't
asking.
need
I have to
Yeah.
need them. I need them when I'm reading now
Yeah.
these days.
You wear spectacles.
If I'm reading, you've even seen them on me.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks a little granny.
Yeah, I look granny.
Do you feel
I
you
feel
see
totally
it too?
granny, but Serene wants us to pull us back to the topic.
No. I'm just feeling. What are some other areas? I mean, you were being honest with the whole workout thing.
All right. Areas.
But I feel like it's so refreshing. I think maybe we're sick of the constant buff people leading us.
Okay, but Danielle,
Maybe
I'm
it's
gonna-
refreshing. Can I just finish that
Okay,
sentence?
yeah.
Maybe it's refreshing to see somebody get their fit, their personal best, who maybe isn't that Hercules kind of look. Maybe it's refreshing because there's so many people out there with your body type that need to
I don't know if there's a lot of people with my body type. Danny, you have more a male type of my body type, right?
You almost said that I have your body
No,
type.
I said a male type of
I
my
felt
body
no,
type.
I felt like you pivoted mid-sentence.
Okay,
Did I see
but
that?
I have asked myself this question, and I will ask it to you, Danny. But although I think it's different with men,
Okay.
men work out a lot of times, often to get healthy, yet to get big and to get buff. So maybe it's different with men. But would you work out? Would you follow like a YouTuber or anything? If there was
Jackie Chan is not big.
Yeah, but Jackie Chan's amazing.
He's
at martial
amazing.
arts.
See,
And other
But
things
that's
from
not
the 90s.
why. Okay, but would you? Let's just say a guy has been working out for several years, and he used to be way skinnier and much flabbier, but now he's toned and he's got a workout together that said, "Hey guys, does this help me?" Would you work out to him, or would you go to the big guy?
I work out to him.
Yeah.
Like staring at the screen.
Yes,
I want
that's
that. I want that. I don't identify at all with any of that. Like I
don't?
don't follow anything except motorcycles and sci-fi. So like this, like
So you don't work out to people. You just do your own thing.
He
Because
does
I work
the
out
No.
to
Danny
people.
push up, right?
yeah, like here's the thing though. I sort of detest that world of following people.
Well, it's not following people as much as
No.
it is they're guiding you through a workout.
And
That's
it's
what she's
motivation
saying.
to keep going. Like,
Okay, here's the
I
thing.
find it so hard to keep going by myself. I need someone else there because I don't want to go to the gym. It's
Here-
too hard for my
here's
life.
what
So
I
I
could
need to
work
follow
out
someone and
to.
do it with them.
This is what I could work out to, if you will, is somebody that has a before picture that looks like me now.
Yeah.
Not like The already ripped guy.
But what she's saying is, what if there's a before person that looked
Yeah.
7 times skinnier than you, and now they're you, and they're guiding? Would you be compelled to work out with them?
For men, though, here's the thing: all the dudes that are coaching people on working out, they're already ripped.
They are.
And what I do is a wrist check, because you can barely gain a centimeter of muscle on your wrist.
Yeah.
So I'll do a wrist check, and I'm like, those are big wrists. You can get ripped easier than I can get ripped.
Look at my wrist.
Yeah, those aren't
Yeah,
ripped.
but I got little wrists.
Yeah,
too.
you do, but somehow
Like-
you can gain muscle.
Like
more
look
than me.
at David Goggins, the guy I saw jogging down the road the other day.
Don't know who that is.
It was so fun to see him. I jumped off my moto and went and introduced myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
He lives in your area?
I don't know. I don't know that he does. I mean,
He just jogged 45 miles into your neighborhood.
I think he jogs like every morning, no matter what, I think. And he may have been speaking in town. Who knows? He might live in my area. I'm hoping to see him again, and I'm going to make it even more embarrassing for myself. Anyways, he's got big wrists. That's my point.
Okay.
And he's this ripped dude, but his wrists are big.
So what you're
Yeah, but you
saying is
haven't answered
no.
the question.
Yeah, he's
Look
saying
at these
he's being
ankles.
Political. He's saying no, he wouldn't work out to another ectomorph. But he's saying he's not going to work out to anyone. He was a bad person to ask.
This is what could be refreshing. I'm smelling what you're stepping in, because the world has enough of the quintessential archetype of perfection, right? And I think most women in the world are not magazine cover right ready. They could be. I think most women could be if they chose to like put that work in. But
sometimes it's, the magazine covers
exotic.
are all airbrushed too. And
that's what it's a
silicone filled. And
Yeah.
so,
But the
when
work to even get, if we're talking about the ideal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The industry standard ideals, the work it's beyond eating healthy. It is a commitment to a full-time job of facials and body treatment, stuff like that. So I think it is refreshing to have somebody that has a normal body that people can relate to, who are like, I too am on my game, and I'm not going so extreme as to achieve like Mrs. Olympia level goals. Because that's a lot of what you have like the most, those who are like, you almost wonder if they're neurotic psychos.
When I first started lifting heavy, what I call heavy is probably not heavy for some people, but it's heavy for me. I started following Carolyn Gervin, and
what's her body
I
type?
do believe her body type is so ultra mesomorph. She is ripped. She has large muscles now. I think that she is genetically special.
Would you want that?
No, I don't want that for me. I don't want that for me, but I do think that she is an amazing specimen and she has amazing muscle. I don't want to be that big.
Yeah.
But I did feel good following her because she's obviously smart. She knows how to lift. I mean, she has a great program. I've kind of adopted things of others now and put it all together on my own, and Serene helping me what I love. But she is kind of typical. Maybe more so for women lifters out there. She is very shredded, and I don't think necessarily shredding is healthy for most women, but she's genetically special, I think. Would you say so, Serene? You've seen
I've
her?
never seen her.
That's
you've
the
never seen
world.
her?
Because I don't necessarily follow people either.
Okay. And she's a lovely lady.
I
I don't want to
follow
pull her
books.
down in any
Yeah.
way.
That's the world of coaches, though. That's kind of what I'm saying is the world of buy my course, follow me coaches. A lot of them are genetically special, or in the male category, they're on steroids.
That's true. And
It's like, buy my
they don't
course.
have to
It's
look
like,
amazing to me. They just have to have an incredible before and after. Like, they don't have to be.
well, I don't think she is a before and after. I think she's worked with in the
I love before and afters.
in the world of
Like, I follow
physical
this
fitness
guy.
for a long
don't
time.
look him up and say, "Oh wow, like you're following some interesting people." He's amazing.
all right, I won't.
But his name is Brett Contreras. He's the glute guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? He has something called the Glute Lab, and I'm all about building the glutes because we had a whole podcast on why building the glutes. It's not just about aesthetics.
Oh, by the way, I
it's
do
about
want to
the
say,
brain.
though-
It's about anti-aging. It's about this is the big bank area where you can put some great tissue there for anti-aging.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
Brett
Brett Contreras.
He's got
I
big
don't believe,
wrists.
I don't follow his kind of lifestyle. Okay. But he said his whole journey was that he had the flattest glutes in the whole high school.
Oh.
Nobody would ever look his way because he had no bum. Like none at all.
Oh, he's got
And
a bum now.
Now he's become the glute. Well, I don't look.
You don't look.
No, I just have this girl book, right? I have all
Yeah.
their girl bums.
She
on
gave
it.
me his book and said, don't look his bum. I said, the first thing I'm going to do is look at his bum. I'm allowed to look at his bum.
You can look at his
I'm just
bum.
observing it. I'm
Yeah,
not doing
it's an
any lustful
observation,
thoughts,
Serene.
Serene.
I'm not even looking. I don't even
Just
care
look at his
to.
bum.
No, I don't want to. I have no desire to look at his bum. But he has some great before and after girl bum pictures.
Does
of
that
the
mess
people
with you?
No, it doesn't mess with me. I actually don't like a big bum on a guy, by the way. But I really, I like more of the cowboy bum, like the little,
Little
it doesn't-
pink, little
I
quarter
don't
bounce.
really want the big, like, I don't do the bubble butt. For me, it doesn't do anything at
More
all.
of a taut.
But I
tiny-
want one on myself. So I'll follow his program because he said he had none and now he has some. But I took his word for the fact that he had some.
Okay. He's even got this little.
He definitely has a bum.
Yeah, and he's got a little figurine statue in his home
a bum.
of a bum.
I don't follow his lifestyle.
All I'm saying, no,
You
I
keep
sure-
blocking my
I'm
phone.
sure he has 7
With your hands.
All I'm
not
saying
sure.
is a before and afters are great. I'm not going to do a before and after of my bum because I don't want people to zoom in on it. But I have developed a bum. I lost a bum. I used to have a bum. Like
Yeah.
I was just shaped naturally to have a bum.
Oh, he's a big bum guy.
And then I lost it through menopause because what happens, you lose your glute muscle.
Yeah.
But I gained it back.
See, I would follow you. That's all I need to know is that what you're doing works.
I
You
have a
don't
bum
have
now.
to be the
Yeah.
genetic Hercules special DNA
I'm going to show you
person.
Carolyn.
Now, if you're going for a bum, though, you wanna know that the person is like, first of all, check it out. I can give you this.
No, I don't care if it's like kind of flat, but then maybe how
See,
they
Carolyn-
started was a concave piece of paper.
Yeah.
If
So
they
if
went
there's
from
improvement.
concave piece of
Yeah.
paper to
But Serene, you have done that. Your bum was, even though you'd always been into fitness your whole life,
Yeah, it was
you-
a vegan bum.
You did not. Yeah, you'd spent too many years in veganism. You had a bit of the
Sad,
pancake
sad
going.
vegan
Yeah.
bum.
And your bum is very bubblish now. And you've done that just from smartness.
Watch how quiet
Arden's
I
like,
get.
what are you talking about? I don't want to hear about my mum's bubble butt. Here's Carolyn. She's genetically
she's
blessed.
A genetically wonderful specimen. Yeah, fantastic. But I don't have to follow her.
Right.
Actually, it might make me a little mad because it might make me think, well, I'm not ever turning into that.
But I don't feel the need to turn into that, and most women I don't believe do. I think most women do not want to be too ripped or too muscly.
What do most women want?
I think most women these days, because things change with culture and tide and trends, what I want to be, and I think most
But
women
yours
want,
has got nothing to do with culture. It's got to do with education. You know now what's anti-aging and what will give you the longest life and the best brain.
yeah, because big bums are in right now.
And big bums give you big brains?
Yes. So, but I have always liked the look of more
That's
of the
science.
bum. And now I know the science of why it's good.
Yeah.
So I do want to develop my bum even bigger, just for my brain's sake.
Just for the brain.
And I like, and I like the
I
look
like
of it in
big
jeans.
butts
and I cannot lie. Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Do you know I heard that song once? I was walking. We used to live in apartments
That's my
in kind of like a
soundtrack.
good old ghetto area, and we didn't have a car. Our dad had the car and he took it to work, so we
Yeah.
would have to walk to the Kroger's.
Yeah.
And I remember this lowrider car driving by, and that song was just like
Blasting.
boomboxing out the window.
Yeah, you don't play it low.
You all you have to do is hear it once. It will never come
Never
out of
get
your
out of your
brain.
head.
Like I'm waking
Yes.
up in the morning. Somehow the song is in my
I
head.
have it, the whole thing memorized.
But what were we going to say? Okay, so the reason I was getting such imposter syndrome, though, was because I was going from Carolyn Gervin being the person in the living room watching her to being told, and for us to tell ourselves, well, we're going to come up with our own. And so I'm just imagining me on that screen, and I'm used to seeing a muscled, ripped
Yes, but she's
person
probably 22.
lifting.
Is she like
lifting
22?
No, I think she's almost 40 or in her 40s. Yeah, late 30s, early
yeah, but
40s.
you're 51, right?
I know, but all I'm saying
And
is,
you were vegan for years and started with genetic ectomorph no bum, and maybe you had more.
I had some when I was young.
Yeah, but you lost it.
Yeah, I lost it.
So it's going to be fantastic because you've got it back.
Well, I know that what I've done worked.
Yeah.
And I feel like people of different body types will get different results too. So I think, there's some people, because the way we're doing these workouts is heavy, but like heavy for me, starting off with my capacity, might be someone who's naturally more athletic or naturally have more muscle on their body. And they may have never worked out in a lifting situation before and come and start heavier than me.
Right.
It's possible.
Oh, totally.
What do you think most women's goals are, though?
Oh, most women's goals. I would say, yes, most women don't want to be big, but they call it toned. But let's talk about toned for
No such thing as
a minute.
toned.
There is actually no such thing.
As toned?
So a muscle can either deteriorate, it can strengthen, or it can build. It cannot tone.
Yeah.
And so this whole tone thing is a word made up because women like the appeal of it. Tone look means...
It's like I don't want to lift weights because I only want to tone. I just want to do yoga because I just want to tone.
I want to be sleek. I want people to be able to kind of see that I have muscle tone, but I don't want it to be big.
Basically, a muscle either builds or it atrophies.
Yeah.
And that's...
But it can strengthen too. It can strengthen without building,
Yeah, it can.
actually.
So
but
that's
to
what they
actually
mean.
build muscle...
You know how you can strengthen without building? Go to China.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were run around the whole city on a rickshaw, a bicycle rickshaw.
Yeah.
These guys pulled my Sam, who was a little overweight at the time. He was
Oh.
260 or something.
Yeah, that was a lot overweight.
240 maybe.
Yeah, 240.
He's
yeah.
6'6". Come on.
Yeah.
Your hubby was not a skinny
No,
American.
he wasn't. No.
And all of us tall Vikings in for China, we were like all giants. There was about 8 of us in this rickshaw.
No, we had our own rickshaws each. 2 to a rickshaw.
No, I was sitting in the rickshaw with you and Charlie, and Sam was with us. Yes, at least 4, at least 2 couples per rickshaw, Pearl.
Let's meet at 6.
This Jackie Chan, tinier than Jackie Chan, half of Jackie Chan, right, was bicycling us up hills and around China.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
All day
strong.
long, that's what he
Was
did.
he
He was
toned?
so strong. No, couldn't see one muscle. Nothing.
Interesting.
Nada.
But he had power, obviously.
Because he didn't feed it and he didn't do whey
Well, is
protein
it
afterwards.
because-
He just fed it white rice.
But is it because it was coupled with so much cardio that he
Well,
just
he
stayed lean?
he never got a chance to feed those muscles. He didn't build them. Like, he just overworked and they never rested.
It's like
So
tendon
I
strength.
do want to say here,
Yeah.
it is incredibly hard, and guys know this who try to do it, to build muscle, especially when you're a peri or postmenopausal woman. We all have different capacities for it. Like you might be a Carolyn Gervin where you build muscle easier, or a Serene, or you might be like a me, or whatever. But to build it, even you, Serene, have had to get so nerdy, to build your butt.
And I'm not big at all.
No, you're not
Yeah.
big, but you have built muscle. I have built muscle.
Yeah.
It's just yours is built more than mine. But to do that, you have to lift heavy. So women want to tone, right?
For me to look tone, I have to lift heavy.
Yes.
When I did all the little 1 pound, little dumbbells, and when I did all of this, the little bit of yoga, I was not toned at all.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying.
Okay.
Women sometimes think, well, I just want to look toned, so I don't want to lift heavy. But actually, as you get older to perimenopause and you're losing your hormones, you have to lift heavy to look toned, because
Tone is actually built muscle.
And,
Yes.
Yeah.
tone means, what it means
see
is
it.
the fat is diminishing, so you see some muscle.
You see the muscle.
Yes. So tone means kind of you don't have too much body fat, so you can see some lovely muscle.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think most women
They want that tone
want
look.
a toned look, but we're saying what we've found through all these years is to get that, you actually have to lift heavy.
It was a book that I read about 10 years ago, and I love it. I forget the author's name, but it was Lift Like a Man, Look Like a Woman.
Yeah.
Because a woman's not going to look like a man if she lifts like a man. First of all, she can't probably lift
can't.
like a man, but to try. To put down those pink dumbbells and actually to
Yeah.
try to do the style of man lifting
We have a
will
couple
make her
pink.
look like a toned woman.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And
Those
we're not
pink
talking
dumbbells.
about here, when we talk about lifting heavy, we're not talking about powerlifting. You know, when you go to the gym, maybe sometime you see some woman and she's like yelling to get the bar over her head, and it's like maybe one thing, and it's powerlifting. That's completely different from
Like
what
one
we're
rep
talking
wonder.
about. We're talking about reps between 8 to
And
20
15, yeah.
or 15. Most of mine are between 8 and 15, but you might do 20. It depends upon what they are. But if you go much lower than that, your form has to be so perfect because you're lifting so heavy that you could injure yourself unless you have perfect form.
What,
But you can get there.
Yeah.
I get down to like a 6 or a 5 rep.
Yeah.
But I've wrecked myself there before I was ready. Yes.
Right.
what do you think that women are actually wanting to get there, or that it's just like a fancy, like that would be nice, but I'm not trying to get there ever and
What
never
do you
will?
mean? Toned?
Yeah, like their best self, you know.
Well, I think it's knowledge is power. When you realize what happens when you lose muscle, for me, it was that.
Yeah.
Once I understood, Pearl, what is happening to you as your muscle is going, I was like, oh my goodness, this changes everything.
It's not
for
about
me.
having a little line in your arm, you know, when you wear a tank top. To us,
Yeah.
it's not about that. To
That's
us,
not
it's
enough
like, This is your
motivation.
metabolic tissue. The only metabolic tissue in your body is muscle. It is your
But
anti-aging
explain
organ.
what that means when you say metabolic tissue.
Because, okay, so a lot of people, they have to, you know, the whole Trim Healthy premise is about stabilizing your blood sugar. You can't stabilize blood sugar when you have no muscle.
Mm-hmm.
When you have no muscle, when it's all turned to flab and you've let it atrophy, there is no cupboard to open up and say, give me some blood sugar. The cupboards are sealed shut, and so you just have blood sugar roaming around your
Such a good
bloodstream,
picture.
giving you
can see
insulin
it.
resistance because
Yep.
there's no muscles. Big muscles are your insulin sensitivity.
So this is what happens when women, you know, they're doing the plan right and they're doing everything right, and then on comes
Muscles, actually, they're an anti-aging organ as well. They're actually like an organ because they release substances. They release myokines, which are anti-aging, which they actually release it to the different organs of your body. They also are a big harbor house for your immune system,
Yes,
your
but-
killer T cells.
So what happens is they're chugging along fine. The metabolism's working great. Oh, this Trim Healthy thing, fantastic. I just love my lifestyle. And then late perimenopause happens, menopause, and it's like with the hormone decline comes muscle decline. Because why? Estrogen, testosterone, they all tank.
Can it be overcome without hormone replacement
I mean,
therapy?
yes, I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
It can, and actually, but we think the two together are best. But so with that, by the time a woman is 40, she has lost, basically, the Australian university said about half of her testosterone just by then. In their 20s, a woman has a lot of testosterone.
So should she get
And
supplements for
actually,
tea?
do you want me to freak you out? She actually has
Yes.
more testosterone than any other hormone in her body.
Yeah, it's just measured differently. So anyway, she loses her estrogen. Estrogen is an anabolic hormone. Anabolic means it feeds muscles. So these two start declining. These two hormones. Progesterone is actually anabolic
Yes, it
too.
is.
All three sex hormones are anabolic. What happens? They start declining, or they start doing wacky dances, up and down, up and down. Muscle starts declining. And then this woman on Trim Healthy Mama is saying, oh man, I don't know why. I used to be able to lose weight. I'm just stalled. It doesn't work for me anymore.
All
The
of a
plan
sudden, my
doesn't
middle
work
is
for-
getting thicker. My middle is getting
My
thicker.
body's changing. But why? I mean, there are many reasons, but a huge one. It cannot be understated what this loss of muscle is doing.
So, bingo, to your question, can you anti-age in any kind of successful way without hormone replacement therapy? The best way for you
Yes.
to is at 30, I would even start earlier, because the earlier you start, the easier.
So just from your
Start
childhood.
Start contending for muscle so that as you get older and you don't have your anabolic hormones anymore, you at least have a lot of hungry muscle so you can still eat your food and not have to start intermittent fasting and all this crazy stuff, right? You got this hungry muscle and you contend to keep it, to at least sustain it.
Okay.
But on hormone therapy, natural
Yeah.
hormonal therapy, it's easier for you to build it back.
So that was the thing, Danny, for me. Like, I don't think it's enough for what women want to look like. It's not enough motivation. For me, it was the knowledge of, Pearl, you are losing your metabolism. You are losing your health. You are losing your blood sugar control. Do you know what happened to me? When the first year of menopause, and I was eating perfectly the same way I'd eaten in my Trim Healthy life. I'd eaten this way for 15 years. Let me see, was it more? Suddenly, my A1C shot up from like 5.0, 5.1 to like 5.5, 5.6. Nothing changed, but
Estrogen
something
is your
did
insulin
change.
sensitivity.
Estrogen is estrogen, but also what happened? My muscle went down. Like Serene said, when my muscles goes down, there's no cupboard to put my food in. The blood sugar is staying in my blood. It makes so much sense. And so I realized, I mean, look at you. You think you're eating perfectly, but you've lost your muscle.
And what is old also, like a synonym for old in my brain? Frail. Old equals frail. So I thought, I'm going to put a stop to that. I'm not going to become frail. So I'll never actually I might be gifted in years, but I'm not going to feel old.
I remember you got in my face one day.
Yeah. I did.
Because I went through menopause and then I was figuring out all these different ways to eat.
You wanted
right?
to stay light.
I wanted to stay light. My scale was going up. My blood sugar was going up. And I'm like, oh, I've turned into one of the women. You know, the one of the women say they're stuck. That's me. And I'm like the head of Trim Healthy Mama. What am I going to do? So I started tweaking all the way I was eating. And I actually found a way to make the scale go down. And, you know, we share about it in the book. But the one thing I didn't realize was to also contend for the muscle. So I was becoming skinny fat, right? I got the scale to drop, but my muscle was going down speedily. And Serene came up. I love my sister getting in my face, but I didn't like it at the time. She said, Pearl, whatever you're doing, it's not working for you. You want to be you're turning into one of those little old women. You know, they get littler and littler and frailer, and they turn into one, and they probably maybe live a long time, but they're just all shriveled up and they're weak. It's like, and you're even starting to look like that. And I was like,
Give it to her.
I'd got into my own face. I looked in the mirror one day and I'm like, you are a frail thing. And I decided to change.
And I did. And it was this knowledge. And I'm like, is she right? Is she right? And I started doing my own study. And I was in a bit of a plight, you know. I was in a bit of a metabolic and hormonal plight. And it was just the reality of my situation and the fact that I could change it with heavy lifting. You know, with protein nerdity, we became protein nerds.
And you did put your hormones back.
Put my hormones back.
Which makes the whole thing
and
a
oh
whole
my
lot
goodness,
easier.
my A1C is back to 5.1. My metabolism is so hot.
She has to eat crossovers
it's so on fire.
so that she doesn't get too skinny.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, so
like, look at this. Okay, so what was I drinking on the way in here, right? Normally it used to be just the sour kefir, you know, and it was all kind of not many carbohydrates. And even though I love carbohydrates, this is what I used to do. Just the sour. This was the raw, fresh goat's milk. I didn't even sour it. I had a whole banana in it. I had honey in it. I had whey protein in it. And if I don't watch it, I'll lose weight on that because I've been lifting and my muscles are starving monsters.
With your both.
I have to like eat way more.
we're not
now.
saying everyone will be like us because also, you know how Carolyn Gervin is genetically blessed.
Yes.
We're third generation crunchy. Our mum was crunchy. We do have good genetics.
No, but what I'm saying is that's how it changed for me.
Yes.
Somebody with metabolic issues, it might change where they don't have to intermittent fast
Yeah.
and they can actually eat normal, regular meals and not feel hangry and actually eat a full meal and it's not going to put the weight on the middle.
Well, you have good genetics, but do you think if you ate what was considered the normal American diet, that you'd be some chunkies?
Oh yeah, I did. I did
She
that.
was a
I
little
made
chunky.
that experiment when
At 21, she was chunky.
I was chunky
you
because
have
I
pictures?
decided. Yeah, I got some pictures, but I wasn't
Bring 'em out.
obese.
She had the big butt and you cannot lie, but it was all fat.
Yeah, but
I wanna see
decided,
Chunky Pearl.
You know, I grew up crunchy. I decided, well, I'm making my own money now. I'm an adult. I'll eat the way I want to. Thank you.
She liked
Well,
bacon
I
and fries and
discovered
gravy.
what
I
that
did
does
that.
to a human
I did
body.
that in my 20s. I was,
Yeah.
you know the kids. Maybe you don't know any kids like this, but most people, you know, can relate. Probably themselves to thinking like, when I get older, I'm gonna have ice cream for breakfast. I'm gonna eat what I want. Well, I did that experiment as well. I was like, it's mac and cheese from here on out. World. I mean, that's all I ate was what I wanted, and I didn't get. I mean, I was overweight for me. I've got some old pictures to where I was like, oh man.
Ectomorphs like us, we can get fat on us. We probably never get obese, but we can
Yeah.
get fat.
Have you
Yes.
seen the skinnies
I-
with the little
I
pot?
looked-
Yeah.
The skinnies with the pot, though?
Yeah, I had
Have you seen them?
Yes.
I've seen the
Little pregnant
skinnies with
men?
the pot.
Yeah.
Little time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew this.
Yeah, like sticks for arms, sticks for
Yeah,
legs,
yeah.
gaunt little faces.
But a bowling ball.
And the rib cage is very little, but then they have this little,
Is
some
it-
little muffiny stuff.
Is that just sugar, like overdose of sugar, or?
And it's lack of muscle,
Yeah.
and it's sugar, and it's devitalized flowers and
so
processed
there's
foods.
nowhere to put all of that food into a muscle, so it just puts a little pot on the tummy.
Okay.
But you know, there's okay. So let's go through the 3 body types, and I know we've been done this before.
Isn't
but
this interesting? We were stopped at 15 minutes.
yeah,
and now
15
we're
minutes,
44.
and now we have to shut up. But like, there's ectomorphs. Okay, so ectomorphs is very small bones. It's very hard to make muscle. You start off with a lower amount of muscle.
Leave me alone.
And it's hard to build it, but you can. And I'm living proof. Danny, you're living proof too. You're
Danny.
not
No,
the man you were.
Yeah,
No, I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm not Brad Pitt in Fight Club,
But you're medium Dan.
but I'm medium.
You used to
Dan.
be little Dan Dan.
But you know what? I could go there. I'm on the cusp.
Yeah.
All I lack is some heavier weights.
Do you know what
I
you
re-
lack
you should
too,
also
though?
take some creatine
You
every
like
day.
my son's eating for a job.
Yeah, you do like that.
You know, the whole that kind of
Yeah,
whole.
eat
let's
like
be
it's your
serious,
work.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
he eats so much, gets so sick of chewing, he'll blend the food.
But what I'm saying is like I have weights at my house, but I've to continue lifting the lighter weights that I have does nothing but burn
Yeah,
calories.
no, you have to get heavy.
I need to add
And
buy
if
more
you're
weights.
going to pick up weights, you're going to have to eat several thousand
And
more
commit
calories.
to-
Commit.
Yeah, but
Okay.
is your Essentials still out of stock?
Oh my goodness, someone said they had some for you.
Yeah, there's some hidden but I think
We
you
have
guys
some set aside.
in like North Kentucky or something.
No, it's at Centerville.
What's the difference?
I don't know. We'll get it for you. Anyway, that will help you build muscle too.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's the mesomorph. Mesomorph are people that are medium frames. They can build muscle. They're often the athletes. They're often the quarterbacks, okay?
The athlete
Yeah,
look.
they're the quarterback.
Those are
Serene
my
is a
boys.
natural mesomorph.
Yeah.
She has an
Although I'm
athletic...
taller, so it's hard to
Yes.
see that.
No, I don't think it's hard to see it. I think you're a good
So
natural
you're a tall
mesomorph, but you're a
mesomorph.
lean one. You're a very lean one. And then there's the endomorph. And endomorphs can carry muscle too, but they're larger frames.
Is that like Arnold Schwarzenegger type
I
I
of
think
just
he was a bit of a meso
He was
on
a
steroids.
meso-
Was he a natural builder?
He could build, but
can't remember.
endomorphs carry some
No,
more.
so he was a meso on steroids.
with
Okay.
muscle, they're larger frames. They have bigger, heavy bones. They carry more fat. They
they
can carry more
naturally
fat.
love to put fat on.
like sumo type?
Yeah,
We're
but they
talking-
don't have to be obese. It's just their natural body type. Their body does well with a bit more fat, actually. It's just a larger body.
the big Viking look.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a larger body. Some women that are endomorphic, they're very curvy. They're gorgeous. If they eat the wrong diet, they can really
They
go
can
up
blow
fast.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
So isn't it funny how it follows to certain ethnicities?
Yes, it does
Like
too.
like when I picture Chinese people, I don't know why I picture skinny.
A lot of Asian people are ectomorphs, or some of them are mesomorphs.
the Maori, the people, the natives of New Zealand, the
Polynesians.
Polynesian, they're endo.
Oh.
Yeah, many of them
Those
are
are the- like
endomorphs.
Samoans?
Yes.
Or they have muscle,
Big.
beautiful muscle,
Oh,
but they
gorgeous.
can carry a nice fat layer too.
But look at the wrists on a Samoan.
Yeah.
in the wrists.
like
Yeah.
like when you some of those guys too, that's what I meant by like these fitness coaches.
Yeah.
Look at the wrists, man. They might have a genetic advantage that you
So
don't have.
what you're saying is you look at them and you're saying you can look like me, and then you look at their wrists and you're saying you're lying to me. Is
You're
that what you're
100%
saying?
lying,
Yeah.
and because
I
as
might
a-
get better, but I'm not going to get you.
I'll never be that.
Yeah.
As a young man, I wish somebody would have told me that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Danny, let's talk about your wrists, buddy.
Because I think it's all just so unique. I've had to so many times say, Pearl, be the best. Pearl, don't be the Serene. When it comes to working out with all these things, I can't be a Serene. I can be the best Pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I am like way less than so many people that I look up for their workouts.
Yeah, so we're all...
because they're shorter and they're a little wider, and that puts a stable base.
Mm-hmm.
When you're tall and you're not quite wide, you don't have a very stable base for heavy
No,
weight.
it's true.
And also all my years of vegan, and I'm gonna get over this, but I think all my years of veganism. And veganism during puberty, and then raw veganism during my first sets of babies, I feel like that pulled from my bones, and so I'm actually
Yes.
from a setback, and I'm actually
Yes.
having to build back years of bone density that
Oh,
I
I
should
tell
have built
you,
as a child.
I mean, we're now we've got 2
Years.
more minutes, but
so I can feel like sometimes I feel like I can lift the weight, but my bones are cracky.
But we're talking stuff like that could be decade or more to build back.
Right.
yes, and I remember
yeah.
when
I think
was
that's important to know.
pregnant with
Yeah.
Bowen, I had a midwife in the hospital, and she said to me, you're thin, you're tall, you're a white woman, and
Is that Heather? Because she said
single
to me,
white female.
no, this was a different
wow.
one. And she said to me, you are at the highest risk for bone mineral density decline.
Yeah.
And then I was underweight too. I mean, I as an ectomorph, I'd always sit at the low end of the BMI. And now they've discovered, even though we don't love BMI, being underweight is the worst thing you can do for your bones.
Oh yes.
We had it against
If
us
you're
because we
under
were
20,
yes,
right?
20 on the BMI.
for a woman. You're
we
hitting
sat
right
under
into
20 for
osteoporosis.
years.
You're actually working on
When I was a
osteoporosis.
vegan, I was probably 17
Oh,
or
it's
something
ridiculous.
ridiculous. So we've got a long way to
If
go.
I could speak to teenagers right now,
Do it. They're
I
listening.
would be like, please don't go on fad diets, because I feel like I've got years to catch up on because of all my fad diets. I could have been like some Amazon person, I reckon.
You're
had
pretty
I not,
darn Amazon now.
No, had I not like veganed
Yeah.
myself, or like I didn't give it anything of
know.
protein. I didn't give myself protein.
But guess
for
what? We learn
years.
from our
Or animal
mistakes.
fat for years.
We learn and we grow, and then we pass along the information, and now we bid you.
But before we bid you, I do want to say this last thought.
You're trying to wrap
Remember,
it.
we glossed over it too soon. Muscle is also your immune system.
Yes.
So as you age, do it for your immune system. Do it to fight off the flus. You know, one of the best things, I'm so proud of my son who's come through battling cancer for 7 years. He's totally free right now. But one of his biggest ways of like combating the disease and having it never come back is that he is huge into muscle building.
Well, there's a study, and I showed you. Remember, I called you about the study that I did.
Really?
Your mom tell you
Yeah.
about it. There's a study that says cancer patients determined by their muscle mass determines their survival.
Yeah.
What?
So the cancer patients with the highest amount of muscle mass have the longest lives.
Yeah.
That's
And at the
interesting.
lowest amounts of muscle mass, you know, their prognosis is not as good. So Arden's doing exactly the right thing.
And probably when you're more advanced in your stage, it's probably a lot harder to work out at that
it
point.
is. So that's why keeping muscle,
Yeah,
like
but
Serene
Arden's
said,
come back
starting
from all of
early.
that. He came back from all
Arden
of that.
has, but
Do you know what's so interesting? Like before the internet, when you saw somebody that was physically fit, at least in the South of America, not South America, the southern parts of the United States, it was like the belief was that they were born that way. Like I always thought, man, look, that would be great to do. Never did it enter my mind like, yeah, go to the gym and work out. People were just born that way.
Except if they had wrists.
Yeah, if they had wrists, they had a genetic predisposition. But, you know, I think a lot of, I think it's positive. You know, there's been a lot of negative body image stuff on the internet, but I think there's been sort of humanity's eyes opening to like, you know, not just going to work and coming home and just accepting your lot in life.
Yeah.
You know, that
sure.
it's like, okay, look at that person. Like 10 years ago, they looked totally different. Now they're like an image of like, is it the Vitruvian man or what's
There's
the?
just so much knowledge out there now.
Yeah.
It's the sports inspo songs.
Yeah, we can gain
Sports inspo.
That's
It
all you need is
is.
just to listen to one.
we can
sports
gain
inspo.
knowledge, and I think for women, most of us women aren't that vain that an image spurs us on. I don't think it's worth it to us. We're like, no, I'm kind of comfortable in my skin. You know, if I'm going to get up and do 3 days of heavy lifting, it's not so I can look like Barbie. That just doesn't compel us.
No, what compels me is I can imagine myself. This is what I have these little fantasies of me like at 88.
Yeah.
And
Still
there's
doing
no
it.
feebleness. There's
Yeah.
no feebleness.
That-
I'm
now that
telling you, like
inspires
the
me.
straightness
Yeah.
of the spine and the strength and the running upstairs with like a couple of grandchildren on my back and some hanging onto my legs trying to slow me down and they
Yeah.
can't.
You know what? That inspires
Yeah.
me. And
Great, sorry.
full circle back to Pearl.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of my point. Like, I'm not into following those archetype, like the best of the best, the genetic freaks who then sell their program. Like, that mentality, like, I mean, and not just back to you, Pearl, but back to like what I think should be the center of culture and the foundation of society, which is the family.
Yeah.
And my love for the elders, all this mixed in. Like, I want to see the 88-year-old guru with a course. Where are
Yeah,
their
I do
course?
too.
Why
I
do we
think-
buy
and
courses
that's
from
what we-
20-year-olds?
that's
That's why
what
we
we're
want to see
gonna
the
start
51
doing.
menopausal woman doing it. You
Yeah,
see?
we
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
want to just. I think that's what's coming out, and now I'm feeling not so much as an imposter.
You feel better?
than when we started. This was good therapy for
Yeah.
me, because this is true. I'm not doing this so people can follow me just to like, we all want to look like a certain image. I'm doing this because I'm compelled by the knowledge of
And
what
that's
this
why
does
some of
to
our
me
coaches.
and what this does to those who do it.
And that's
Yeah.
why some of our coaches have become coaches because they feel compelled. They can't sit back at home and not be a coach.
Yeah. they
Because of the
can't.
experience, because of the metamorphosis
They're on
that
fire
they've
for
already received.
They're on fire for what they've come through.
Right.
I mean,
and they don't have to be the archetype.
Yeah.
We can look at where they've come from and like, you are a god. Just where you
Yeah.
are. Not little G-O-D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. Hey, we got it.
去之前全好。